Welcome to Tale Spinners, where we bring stories to life. In this video, we present to you From Homeless to Heartfelt, a tale of love, dreams, and magic. Without further ado, let's begin. Once upon a time, in the heart of a bustling city, there lived a young homeless boy named Alex. He was just 16 years old, but he had already experienced more hardship and adversity than most people face in a lifetime. Alex had been living on the streets for the past year, ever since he ran away from his abusive father. Despite his situation, Alex was a resourceful and determined young man. He had managed to survive by scavenging for food in dumpsters, finding shelter in abandoned buildings, and relying on the kindness of strangers. He had made a few friends among the other homeless people in the city, but he never let anyone get too close to him. One evening, as Alex was wandering through the streets in search of food, he stumbled upon a small park that he had never seen before. It was a hidden oasis in the middle of the concrete jungle, with lush green trees, a sparkling pond, and a bench overlooking the water. Alex was drawn to the bench, and he sat down to catch his breath. As he sat there, he noticed a young woman walking towards him. She was wearing a flowing summer dress, and she had a smile that lit up the entire park. Alex felt a flutter in his chest, but he quickly pushed it down. He had learned long ago that he could never let his guard down, especially around strangers. But the woman didn't seem to notice his apprehension. Instead, she walked over to him and introduced herself. Her name was Emily, and she had just moved to the city a few weeks ago. She explained that she was an artist, and she loved to paint the beautiful landscapes and buildings that she saw around her. She had come to the park to sketch the pond, but she was feeling uninspired. Alex was surprised by how easy it was to talk to Emily. She was so friendly and open, and she seemed genuinely interested in him. They talked for hours, sharing stories about their lives and their dreams. Alex learned that Emily had grown up in a small town, and she had always dreamed of living in the city. She had saved up for years to move here, and she was determined to make it as an artist. In turn, Alex shared his own story. He told her about his abusive father, and how he had run away from home to escape the violence. He talked about his struggles on the streets, and how he was determined to make a better life for himself someday. Emily listened to his story with tears in her eyes. She was moved by his resilience and his courage, and she knew that she had to do something to help him. She invited him to stay at her apartment for a few days, just until he could find a more permanent solution. Alex was hesitant at first. He had never accepted help from anyone before, and he didn't want to burden Emily. But he could see the sincerity in her eyes, and he knew that he could trust her. So he agreed, and they walked back to her apartment together. Over the next few days, Alex stayed with Emily, and they grew even closer. They spent hours talking, cooking together, and exploring the city. Emily introduced him to her friends, and they welcomed him with open arms. Alex couldn't believe how much his life had changed in just a few short days. He had never felt so cared for, so loved, and so alive. But as much as he loved spending time with Emily, Alex knew that he couldn't stay with her forever. He had to figure out a way to support himself and build a better life for himself. So he started looking for work, and he was thrilled to land a job as a dishwasher in a local restaurant. As he worked hard and saved up his money, he never forgot about Emily. She had become his closest friend and confidant, and he knew that he could always count on her. They still spent time together whenever they could, and Alex cherished those moments more than anything. But as time went on, he began to feel something more for Emily. He didn't want to admit it at first, but he couldn't deny the way his heart raced whenever he saw her, or the way his mind couldn't stop thinking about her. He was scared to tell her, though. What if she didn't feel the same way? What if he ruined their friendship? One day, Emily surprised him by taking him to a fancy restaurant for dinner. Alex was nervous, but he could tell that Emily was excited about something. As they sat down at their table, Emily leaned in and whispered, "I have something to tell you." Alex's heart was pounding in his chest as he waited for her to speak. But when Emily finally spoke, she said something that he never expected. "I met someone," she said, beaming with happiness. "His name is Jack, and he's amazing. I think I might be in love with him." Alex felt like his heart had been ripped out of his chest. He couldn't believe that Emily had found someone else. He wanted to be happy for her, but all he could feel was jealousy and sadness. He managed to force a smile, and he told her that he was happy for her. But inside, he was crumbling. As the weeks went on, Alex tried to bury his feelings for Emily. He knew that he could never compete with Jack, and he didn't want to ruin their friendship. But every time he saw Emily with Jack, his heart ached. He tried to distract himself with work and by spending time with his other friends, but nothing could fill the void that Emily had left behind. One night, as he was walking home from work, Alex heard someone calling his name. He turned around and saw Emily running towards him, tears streaming down her face. "What's wrong?" he asked, feeling a knot form in his stomach. "I don't love Jack," Emily said, gasping for breath. "I thought I did, but I don't. The only person I've ever loved is you, Alex." Alex couldn't believe what he was hearing. He had dreamed of this moment for so long, but he never thought it would actually happen. He took Emily's hand and led her to a nearby bench, where they sat down and talked for hours. Emily explained that she had been confused about her feelings for a long time. She had always cared for Alex deeply, but she was scared to admit it. She had thought that she was supposed to fall in love with someone like Jack, someone who was successful and confident and everything she thought she wanted. But the truth was that she wanted Alex more than anything. As they talked, Alex felt his heart fill with joy and relief. He had never been happier in his life. He knew that he loved Emily with all his heart, and he could finally tell her without fear. They embraced, and he kissed her gently on the lips. From that moment on, Alex and Emily were inseparable. They moved in together, and they built a life that was filled with love, art, and adventure. They continued to face challenges, but they faced them together with the unwavering support of each other. Years later, as they looked back on their journey, Alex and Emily couldn't believe how far they had come. They had started as two young people living on the streets, with nothing but hope and determination to guide them. But they had built a life that was richer and more beautiful than they ever could have imagined. One day, as Alex and Emily were walking through the city, they stumbled upon an art gallery that was displaying some of Alex's paintings. They were both shocked and overjoyed to see his work on display, and they quickly went inside to take a closer look. As they were admiring the paintings, a well-dressed man approached them. "Excuse me," he said, "are you Alex?" Alex nodded, feeling a little nervous. "Yes, that's me," he said. The man smiled. "I'm a collector, and I'm interested in buying one of your paintings. Would you be willing to sell it?" Alex couldn't believe his luck. "Of course," he said, beaming with happiness. The man took out his wallet and handed Alex a wad of cash. "Here you go," he said. "Consider it an investment in your future." Alex was over the moon. He thanked the man and hugged Emily, feeling like everything was finally falling into place. But as they were leaving the gallery, something unexpected happened. Alex accidentally dropped the wad of cash, and it went flying in all directions. They both watched in horror as the bills fluttered away, caught in the wind. At first, they both felt devastated. They had been so close to achieving their dreams, and now it seemed like it was all slipping away. But then something strange happened. People all around them began to pick up the bills and hand them back to Alex. And as they did, they started to smile and laugh, joking with him about his newfound wealth. Alex and Emily couldn't help but laugh along with them. They realized that the money wasn't what was important after all. What mattered most was the love and connection they had with each other and with the people around them. And so, with a renewed sense of joy and hope, they walked hand in hand through the streets, ready to face whatever the future held. As Alex and Emily walked through the city, they couldn't help but feel grateful for the unexpected turn of events that had happened that day. They knew that the money they had lost was nothing compared to the love and connection they had found with each other and with the people around them. As they walked, they talked about their dreams and aspirations, and they both realized that they had the power to make their dreams a reality. They knew that it wouldn't be easy, but they were both determined to make it work. They decided to start by looking for a place to stay. They knew that they couldn't keep living on the streets if they wanted to make their dreams come true. So, they started searching for a place to live. It wasn't easy, but after a few days of searching, they found a small apartment in a decent neighborhood. It was small and a little run down, but it was all they could afford. They both worked hard to fix it up and make it feel like home. As they settled into their new place, they both started working on their goals. Alex continued to paint, and Emily began working on a business plan for her baking. They knew that it would take time, but they were both willing to put in the work. One day, as they were working on their projects, Emily received a call from a local bakery. They had heard about her baking and wanted to try some of her desserts. Emily was thrilled, and she quickly put together a sample box for them to try. The next day, Emily went to the bakery to drop off the sample box. As she was leaving, she saw a poster for a baking competition. The grand prize was a year's worth of free ingredients and a spot on a popular cooking show. Emily knew that this was the opportunity she had been waiting for. She quickly signed up for the competition and started working on her entry. As the day of the competition approached, Emily grew more and more nervous. She had never competed in anything before, and the thought of standing in front of a panel of judges made her stomach turn. But she knew that she had to try. She had to take this chance to make her dreams a reality. On the day of the competition, Emily arrived at the venue with her entry, a delicious chocolate cake. As she made her way to her station, she saw Alex in the crowd, cheering her on. As she presented her cake to the judges, Emily could feel her heart racing. But then something unexpected happened. One of the judges took a bite of her cake and started dancing. Emily couldn't believe it. The other judges joined in, and soon everyone in the room was dancing and singing. It turned out that Emily's cake had a secret ingredient, a pinch of magic. The judges loved it, and Emily won the competition. As she walked out of the venue, holding her trophy and a year's worth of free ingredients, Emily couldn't help but laugh. She knew that she had found her calling, and that she and Alex would continue to work together to make their dreams come true. As Emily and Alex walked back to their apartment, still buzzing from the excitement of the competition, they knew that their lives had changed forever. Emily's baking had opened doors they never knew existed, and they were ready to walk through them hand in hand. But there was one more surprise waiting for them when they got home. As they opened the door to their apartment, they found a small basket of fresh bread and pastries sitting on their kitchen table, along with a note. The note was from the owner of the local bakery, thanking Emily for the sample box and inviting her to come work for them as a head pastry chef. The owner had been impressed with Emily's talent and wanted to help her make her dreams come true. Emily and Alex couldn't believe it. They hugged each other tightly, tears of joy streaming down their faces. As they sat down to enjoy the bread and pastries, they knew that they had found a family in the most unexpected place. They were surrounded by people who believed in them, who supported them, and who loved them. And so, as they looked out the window at the city below, they knew that they had found a place to call home. A place where their dreams could take root and grow, where their love could blossom and flourish, and where they could find warmth and comfort in the most unexpected of places. Thanks for watching Tale Spinners. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe for more fantastic storytelling.